23rd, 2022. As some of you have likely heard, Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, announced yesterday that the Fed raised the Fed fund rate by 75 basis points. More importantly, in his comments afterwards, he made it clear that the Fed would continue to raise rates until the inflation rate was down to 2%. With a steep inversion in the yield curve only getting steeper, many are wondering why the Fed is getting so hawkish, as this is typically a signal that it is time to ease or hold steady on rates, not raise them. This morning, one of my favorite YouTube Bitcoin content creators, Matthew Crowder, did a piece on a possible ulterior motive for the move, that it was to destroy Russia. I had pondered this theory myself about a month ago and even wrote such an idea down in the comment section on Zero Hedge. The theory basically being that if the Fed brings about a massive global recession or depression, this will kill demand for oil worldwide, cratering its price and hence cut off the Russians from their cash flows. Interestingly, my comment was moderated off of Zero Hedge, a platform that prides itself for allowing greater free speech than establishment media. Apparently, someone doesn't want us thinking that. While clearly I like this theory, I have another one that I'd also like to express, and one that is even more directly related to the topic of this channel. Let me place this theory in 3 parts. Number 1, interest rates will rise whether the Fed wants them to or not. 2, the Fed knows this. And 3, they might as well look like the cause and maintain their position of perceived power, just as an old world shaman might claim he caused an eclipse, rather than just predicted it. Let me explain further. The global oil production curve looks like this, and if I am correct, we are entering the energy cliff after about 16 years at the volatile peak. Now, let's break these eras into 3 different groups. We will call one the age of Chad, during oil expansion, one the age of the boomer, during price volatility and manipulation, and age 3, the age of Wojak, the age of oil depletion. Now, let's consider the world of finance in each of these epochs. Remember the basic principle: all wealth is an expression of energy. This means that if you are a financier in the age of Chad, the age of oil expansion, that any bets you put forward are much more likely to pay off because total wealth is expanding. Meaning, if you bet on an enterprise in 1950, the chances of success are relatively high because both demand and supply are expanding worldwide. Your general risk is lower. And what are interest rates? Interest rates are an expression of the risk involved in such a loan. If you have good credit, you have a low interest rate because financiers know they are likely to receive their owed money. But if you have bad credit, you must pay a much higher premium because you are at greater risk. This is the same principle that governs gambling tables, and hence why a single bet on a roulette table must have a higher return than a single bet on a blackjack table. Now compare the general risk of the age of Chad to the age of Wojak, the age of oil depletion. In this period, you are operating in an environment of economic and wealth contraction. There will simply be less wealth in 10 years than there is now. Your chance of getting that invested wealth back, particularly with a profit, is clearly going to be lower than in the age of wealth expansion, in the age of Chad. Hence, your risk will be higher, and if your risk is going to be higher, you will demand a higher return, aka higher interest on the loan. How high can interest rates get? Well, it is likely that all common measures will be destroyed in the next 2 decades, if not years. So using today's terminology makes the perilous job of predicting the future even more treacherous. But what we can say is that during the Middle Ages, a period of energy equilibrium, when energy expansion was relatively static, interest rates were generally between 15 and 25% for a loan. Reasoning would dictate that it will be higher, perhaps much higher, in an age of energy depletion. Not a happy subject, I know, but mental preparation leads to physical preparation, and both are key to survival. And perhaps even thriving in such a period, at least thriving in a relative sense. Let me know what you think in the comments, and thanks again for watching.